It's hot. Very, very hot. Hello and welcome to The Weekly Drip, the show where two music nerds listen to their favorite songs and use them to create weird and wacky hot sauce recipes, all while consuming adult beverages. I'm your co-host, Mike King.
And I'm your co-host, Wyatt Dozier. Mike, what are you doing in my kitchen?
We're filming today, man.
You're back?
Yeah, I'm back in Illinois, dude.
The bitch is back?
The bitch is back.
The bitch is back!
Yeah, no, I got your ingredients out for you. I figured, we'll go ahead and set up, start filming a YouTube video. So here we are.
Thanks, buddy.
That's just how close your two podcast hosts here are. Like, I don't need to tell him when I'm just going to show up in his kitchen, start raiding through his fridge and stealing all his hot peppers. This is what we do.
You just walk in.
Absolutely.
Flavor notes. Flavor notes.
Okay, so based on the criteria that we talked about in the podcast, which, by the way, go listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any of those other various platforms, because this is going to make a whole lot more sense once you have that context. We talked about Raising Cane. I'm going to attempt to reverse engineer Raising Cane's chicken sauce. Now, in order to reverse engineer this sauce, I've never actually been to a Raising Cane's. There is one up by where you are in Chicago.
In Orland Park, Illinois.
So, Mike was kind enough to bring down a sample. Now, when he was bringing down this sauce, I thought that it was going to be, like a little dipping cup, like you get on the side of things. Well, Mike never does anything halfway, ladies and gentlemen. This is an entire Raising Cane's cup full of Raising Cane's chicken sauce.
The issue is, when I went through the drive-thru to pick up the sauce, I rolled down my window and they asked me what I would like very politely, and I responded, could I please have a container of your cane sauce? And the drive-thru lady, without any hesitation whatsoever, just simply asked, 21 ounce or 32 ounce. The speed at which she was ready with that response tells me that I am not the only person, probably even that day, to have purchased an insane quantity of Cane's chicken sauce. But yeah, it's only $5, so if you've got a Raising Cane's near you, it's a pretty good sauce. And I'd never tried it before, but this is, one of the beautiful things about our country, that you can just go through a drive-thru and get you a bucket of spicy mayo for $5.
God bless America, am I right, folks?
Don't do that.
Delicious.
Oh, so much mayonnaise.
That was a mistake, I regret that.
Alright, well, why don't you walk us through the rest of your lineup here of ingredients?
Okay. Mayo, ketchup, lemon juice, Worcestershire, this sauce, some salt, pepper, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to use that as a base, and then I'm going to attempt to modify it from a chicken sauce to a steak sauce, so that it can be something that Elton John can enjoy with his steak on a Saturday night. So I'm also going to be adding the horseradish, fancy mustard, and Carolina Reaper paste. What do you got, Mike?
I am stealing a couple ingredients here from you. I'm also going to be using that Carolina Reaper paste because although you decided to take Raising Cane's and take that to mean that you need to use the Raising Cane's chicken sauce, to me, Raising Cane or Raising Hell just means we need a really fucking hot sauce. And this is the pepper to do that with. So I'm going to be using some of that. Garlic powder, some paprika. For my acid base, I am going to be using balsamic vinegar because I think that can make a very good steak marinade and can translate well into a sauce. Just a little yellow onion here. Love to have some sauteed onions on my steak. I went to Whole Foods for the first time in my life this week on the search for a new place for me to buy peppers in the city that I now live in. And the only peppers that they had available were habaneros, but fortunately they are some of the best looking habaneros I have ever seen. They are just plump and ripe and colorful, and stop laughing at my usage of the word plump. So Wyatt, what do you say we chop these bad boys up and get started?
Sounds good to me.
Alrighty.
All right, so while Mike has his sauce simmering on the stove, I'm going to start my sauce mixology process. I'm going to break this down basically into 3 distinct steps. Stage number 1 is going to be reverse engineering the cane sauce. Stage number 2 is transforming that cane sauce into something that might be able to work as a decent steak sauce. Then stage number 3 is going to be ruining said steak sauce with an ungodly amount of peppers. If you look at the comparison, the colors look pretty similar. My version of it is maybe a little bit more pale, but the flavors are pretty dead on. So I'm gonna stick with this in the rest of the variations of the sauce going forward. Okay, so now we're moving on to stage 2. I've transferred some of the sauce over to this second container, and I'm going to now modify this from a chicken sauce to a steak sauce because Elton John mentions enjoying a steak in the song. So how do we change this flavor profile to something that works well with steak? Well, number 1, I always think of horseradish with a nice prime rib or something like that, and also a little bit of fancy stone ground mustard, which I also think goes well with certain steak dishes. I'm also going to slightly ramp up the Worcester ratio, if you will, to give it a little bit more of that steaky vibe. So, stage 2, we now have our modified chicken sauce into a steak sauce from some weird alternate reality in which Raising Cane's was a steak place instead of a chicken place. Let's see how that turned out. Pretty good. It's something that I would like to have on the side of a prime rib or something like that. The 2 additional flavors that we added here do kind of completely overtake all of the flavors of this sauce. So the Raising Cane's thing is kind of completely lost in the flavor profile now, but it adds a nice creamy texture. So now it's on to stage 3, ruining this sauce with super hot pepper paste. So for our final element where I'm adding the extreme amount of heat that we talked about, I have some Carolina Reaper paste. I've never used this before, so I'm gonna have to sample it just to see how much I need to add to this. Pray for me. We'll see how this stuff is. Oh, okay. Nope, it hits you when you swallow it. Okay, I'm not gonna have to add very much of this.
Oh my god, that's so much.
A little dabble do you right? It's like half the volume of this. Oh god.
Jesus Christ.
Oh no.
Now, is this like your finished product?
Yeah, this is it. No simmering, nothing. We're very different methodologies here. Look how much redder it is.
The peppers have simmered. They're nice and soft. And I think we're ready to blend it up. So let's go ahead and add stuff in. This is my habanero, onion, and balsamic mixture. There's not a whole lot of balsamic left in there in liquid form after a little more than I thought. But a lot of it was soaked up or boiled off. Next, we're gonna add our Carolina Reaper stir-in paste. I don't need a ton of this since I've already got really the bulk of my entire sauce is habanero, so it's already gonna be a very hot sauce without this, but we don't do things halfway on this show. So let's liven the party up. And then we're gonna throw in some paprika. This was kind of a last minute addition for me because whenever I'm just cooking steaks on the grill or on the stovetop or whatever, I hate using those kitschy pre-mixed steak rubs. I always go just salt, pepper, and if I'm feeling a little spicy, I'll throw some smoked paprika on there. I think it's a really nice way to finish a steak. It gives you a really tasty crust. So we're gonna throw some of this in here. That's way too much. That's gonna be friggin' delicious. That's why I should be using measuring utensils. And then some garlic powder. And I do wanna go kinda heavy on this because I love garlic. And that's gonna do it for that. I think it's time to blend it up. It looks like what you might expect to see about 12 hours after consuming a sauce like this. It smells very much like habanero and just some balsamic, which is pretty much what it is. I'm not really excited to try this one. Oh, the chunks. Dear God, what have I done? I was so busy asking myself if I could, I never stopped to ask myself if I should. And now I have to live with these consequences. These horrible, horrible consequences of what I've created. We are ready to try these sauces, and I don't know about you, Wyatt, but I am terrified.
Yeah, terrified of whatever that is.
Bubbling concoction.
Bubbling as souls of the damned.
It's literally like a couple bubbles have come up, and there's nothing in this sauce that should be bubbling. It's not boiling, it's actually quite cool. And terrified. Do you have a prediction for who's going to win here?
I don't want to sound cocky, but given the sounds that I've heard that make, I feel pretty confident.
I think I've got a shot, and I'll tell you why. This sauce, although lacking in visual pleasure, I think it has some really solid ingredients. It smells like a steak sauce. And I think that although the appearance isn't there, it might just surprise you when it comes to flavor. And that's really where it counts.
Okay.
So what do you say we give these bad boys a taste?
Let's do it. Okay. So, I added a bunch of pepper-fish that I found this to be super hot. The mayo actually kind of mellows it out.
The mustard's good too in there. A little tanginess and stuff.
Okay.
But it starts to build.
I may have spoken too soon. It's kind of a sleeper.
Yeah.
Try it up front.
Swallow.
You try it up front, you're like, this isn't even spicy at all. What are you talking about? Maybe this is hot sauce. And then you sit with it for a second. It starts to linger a little bit at you.
Yeah. It's good. It's very good.
Good luck.
I don't want to do this. Too sober for this sauce. Actually, this is not bad.
Oh?
The balsamic is really the predominant flavor. It's hot. Oh, when you swallow it gets hot.
Okay.
But it's not. It's the same as yours. It's a sleeper.
So one thing I will say, way sweeter than I thought it was going to be. And also not nearly as throat murdery as I thought it was going to be. You're right. The heat's going up on me now.
Yeah, no, it's hot. It's hot, but it's good. I don't think either of us truly succeeded in making a steak sauce. I think you made a sauce I would love to dip tortilla chips in. And I think I made a sauce that maybe you could use as like a marinade. But I don't know that I'd want to like dunk steak in either of these.
Right, yeah, I mean, especially considering the spice level, I don't think you want to tarnish the steak.
Do you think we have a winner?
See, I think that each of us succeeded in a certain portion of the prop, but just in different ways.
We both raised Cain.
But indeed. So
Yeah, they're hot as hell.
So, what do you think? Which one of these would you more want to try? Or you think they're both gross and you're like, there's something wrong with both of you? That's a totally valid point.
Oh, sure is. We're not good at this. Like, we shouldn't be. I do think you won in terms of visual.
Okay.
But flavor-wise, I'd maybe call it wrong.
Yeah.
What do you say we put a cap on it? Because I need a pound of fucking beer.
Yeah, me too.
Let's put a cap. Alright guys, that's it for the weekly drip. Leave a comment to let us know whose sauce looked better to you. Remember to like, subscribe, and check out our podcast, Get the Sauce, where we come up with the ideas for these videos. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you can get your podcasts.
This episode was written and produced by Mike King and Wyatt Dozier. Big thanks to our amazing editor, Zia Fox, and another big thanks to our cameraman for the day, Logan Peters. Catch you next time on the Weekly Drip.
Stay spicy.
Put a cap on it. Put a cap on it. Put a cap on it. Put a cap.
Wait, you
You're not even gonna like slice it?
Huh? No, I just.
This is
need
all
to
you're
juice it.
doing?
Yes. I'm just.
We're
juicing.
cutting like a whole musical scene over this, dude.
Well, do you want me to get me squeezing it too?
Do it. Do something with some pizzazz. No, it's
You
fine.
want
It's fine.
me to squeeze my lemon on camera? Is that what you want?
All right, now that Wyatt's done squeezing his lemon, I'm gonna get some onions cut up.
Damn it, I laughed. I couldn't help it. Okay, hold on.
I can try it again.
You were trying so hard to
I swear to God, I heard his laugh leak out of his side. Like,
I think we should leave that in there.
okay, yeah, let's just leave it
I
there.
mean,